Police are investigating a murder-suicide that happened in Monroeville, Pennsylvania on Tuesday afternoon. At around 11 a.m. on the 21st of February, emergency crews and SWAT units responded to 440 Ashbury Court after receiving a report of 48-year-old Corey Lee Christian shooting at his 51-year-old wife, India Wright Christian, who was driving a white Mercedes SUV. While the authorities made their way there, they found the SUV had crashed into a nearby home's garage at 441 Bay Hill Drive, which intersects the end of Ashbury Court. India was found inside the car in a critical condition, with gunshot wounds to her torso and arm. She was transported to the Forbes Hospital, where she was later pronounced dead. Investigators said the car was associated with the home in Ashbury Court, near where the report of gunfire originated. Police said that after the shooting, Corey then fled to his home in Ashbury Court where the couple lived and barricaded himself inside. After hours of trying to make contact with the man, police forced entry into the house at around 3:30 p.m. and found the man dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. 28-year-old Trent Krieger has been found guilty of killing his 67-year-old grandfather, Robert Earl Huffman Jr. during a fight in Daleville, Indiana in 2021. On Friday, the 17th of February, a jury convicted Trent of murder and aggravated battery. The incident occurred in the early morning hours of the 5th of September 2021 in the 9100 block of South Walnut Street. Trent had reportedly been staying in the parked car outside his grandfather's home and drank almost 2 pints of vodka over a 7-hour period. Robert became upset about the amount of alcohol Trent was consuming, so he grabbed the keys from him and tried to pull his grandson out of the car when the two began fighting. Trent then struck his grandfather with a steel wheelbarrow, choked him and kicked him. He then nudged a concrete cinder block over Robert's head before he stomped down on it multiple times. At 2:40 a.m, Trent called 911 and said, "My grandpa's outside and I don't feel a pulse. Him and I got into a fight and he lost." A dispatcher then directed Trent how to perform CPR until medics arrived. Robert was pronounced dead at the scene. A forensic pathologist said that Robert sustained 25 fractures to his ribs as a result of the brawl. He was face down on the ground after suffering the injuries and likely suffocated to death. Prosecutors said that Trent stomped on his grandfather's head to finish him off. A friend of Robert, Ed Johnson, testified that Robert was somewhat limited in mobility after having his knees replaced and suffered from diabetes among other ailments. He recalled his friend had limited stamina when they worked together on projects. He once recalled Trent bristled when his grandfather asked for help with a chore. "That's all you live for, to boss me around," Trent reportedly told Robert. Trent is scheduled to be sentenced on the 24th of March and faces between 45 to 65 years for the murder conviction and 3 to 16 years for the aggravated battery conviction. 63-year-old John Ewing of Topeka, Kansas has been found guilty of murdering his ex-girlfriend with an axe in April of 2021. On Friday the 17th of February, John was convicted of murder, aggravated kidnapping, aggravated burglary, criminal threat, and interference with law enforcement for the death of 58-year-old Deborah Stevens. The incident occurred on the morning of the 27th of April 2021 at the Coachlight South Mobile Home Park at 801 Southwest 57th Street. Surveillance video captured John sneaking up on Deborah and approaching her from the back as she leaned into her car. John grabbed her head and neck and forced her to the ground, where he hit her several times with a large flashlight. As Deborah yelled out for help, he moved her into the trailer where he told her, "I will kill you." After pushing her into the trailer, he grabbed an axe and repeatedly struck her in the head. After killing Deborah, John left the mobile home park before returning hours later and contacting authorities about the death. At around 5:30 p.m. that day, deputies from the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office arrived at the trailer. When deputies entered, they found John smoking a cigarette on Deborah's bed, with her lifeless body laying face up next to him. John said he got into an argument with Deborah after she hit him, after she thought he slashed her tires, but he said he only let the air out. John will be sentenced on the 12th of May. A 28-year-old brothel worker was arrested after a dispute between two co-workers escalated into a shooting and an armed standoff with law enforcement officials at the Moonlight Bunny Ranch in Carson City, Nevada. At 9:37 p.m. on Monday the 20th of February, deputies received a report of the dispute, and the 911 caller said they heard gunshots. Upon arrival of deputies, they heard several more gunshots, and they evacuated the brothel. During their investigation, the Lyon County Sheriff's Office learned that Bunny Ranch employee Savannah Henderson, also known as Tiara Tay, was responsible for firing the gun and then retreated into a room inside the business. The crisis negotiations team Special Weapons and Tactics and Technology team reportedly responded to the scene, and a standoff ensued. At around 12:33 am, the sheriff's office said Savannah was taken into custody without further incident. Savannah is charged with 2 counts of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of a controlled substance, discharging a firearm where others may be endangered, and obstructing resisting a peace officer. She was held at the Lyon County Jail, but was released after paying $86,140 in bail.